The Chicago Bulls lost their second Summer League game, 80-63 to the Utah Jazz, in the game that was just sloppy, like almost from start to finish. And even though Caleb Wilson gave you the production you wanted to see as he went on in that game, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 blocks, he absolutely stuffed the stat sheet. And the defense was very loud for Caleb Wilson. He's now had 2 games where his activity, one game that stood out offensively, one game that stood out defensively. And the next question is, what do we need to see from him, Dailyn Swain, and Noah Essingay in Game 3? Will we even see Caleb Wilson in Game 3? There's talk that he could be shut down. We're talking about it all and more. And is it time to be concerned about Dailyn Swain? We'll talk about all that and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today. Y'all, this was a sloppy physical game. I think when you look at it, Chicago and Utah in this game combined for 39 turnovers and 54 fouls in this game. Both teams shot around 32% from the field as well. And Utah's guards disrupt the rhythm of the Chicago Bulls all night in regards into that. Simply put, the Chicago Bulls did not create enough. They did not get easy shots. They just didn't really have any semblance of an actual offense at all, really, especially in the half court. And, you know, this is what Summer League is. And this is why I always say do not have these deep takes from Summer League, because it's the kind of ugly basketball that you see throughout Summer League. And it's why Summer League is more about not even necessarily development. It's more kind of a showcase is the way that you want to look at it in regards to. But there still are takeaways that we're going to talk about, especially for the 3 players that we've been focusing on the most in Summer League. That's Caleb Wilson, Noah Essingay, Dailyn Swain. And it's a mixed bag. It's some concern from each of these guys. It's some positives from Noah and Caleb. And I think the one thing to take away from this overarching league for Dailyn Swain is like this point guard experiment needs to be over with. It kind of reminds me of the fact of like back when Pop was experimenting with Jeremy Sohan at point guard, and we're just like, what? Now, I hope that Dailyn Swain has a lot better of a career than Jeremy Sohan, but I'm not going to act like like this point guard experiment has been good. It has not. I don't think it's done anything from Dailyn Swain. If I honestly, and this, you know, again, it's Summer League, so I'm not going to have like a whole deep thought on it, but like, I'm just like, what is Thiago thinking, right? Like, but nonetheless, we'll get into it. Let's focus on Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson, game 2, you know, very productive, right? Not a clean, not the best night that you look at, but very productive. Like I talked about, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 blocks. The defense that he played was absolutely outstanding. It was outstanding. And through 2 Summer League games so far is that Caleb Wilson has shown that he can impact the game on both sides of the ball. That's it, right? He's not dependent on scoring or a hot shooting night. And I think that's really good in regards to it. His offense came late in the game. It is what it is. I do think that in this game particularly, I would have liked to see Caleb Wilson kind of take control over the game a little bit earlier. But again, it's Summer League, so I'm not going to judge it too hard, right? The goal is efficiency, and it isn't about dropping another 30-piece in regards to it. And I get it that that's what fans want to see. He's our first-round pick. He's a player with the star-level upside, all that type of stuff. But overall, it was a solid game. Like I said, I'm not gonna gas, but I'm also not gonna act like it's the most terrible game in the world either, just because he didn't score 30-something points. Like, Caleb Wilson played a game, and it was a good game overall. He made an impact in regards to it as well. His physicality showed early on, throughout the game. And then late, like you could see, he tried to put the team on his back to finish with those 19 points overall. The most encouraging thing I would say from Caleb Wilson is here. Still shot 37% from 3, and it wasn't a ridiculous amount, like 3 for 8, right? Like, I doubt he's going to take 8 3-pointers in the NBA game, right? But, you know, the fact that he's averaging above 30, 38, 39%, you know, in Summer League is really encouraging, because not to say that it's going to carry 1 for 1 in the regular season, but it is important because, again, if that 3-point shot is legitimate and it's one that on decent value, you know, if Caleb Wilson is taking 3 3-pointers per game and hitting it at 34, 35%, like that changes the way that you have to guard him completely. So that's the thing that I'm really coming in regards to this. You know, for expectations in game 3 for him, course, I like to see the huge game. I think, 18 points around that area, about 8 rebounds from him, another 2 to 3 assist game, and then about 2 to 4 stocks combined. I think is a reasonable expectation for him in regards to that one. I want to see him shoot again in another above 50% night from the field. He was 47% from the field last night. So again, solid, right, shooting overall from him. I think overall, when you look at the Caleb Wilson part of this, is that Caleb has shown some spectacular stuff, which is exactly what you want to see from a top 4 pick in Summer League. And, you want to see some maturity, some more kind of balance and stuff from him as the games go on. But overall, I think it's fun, right? And when you look ahead to game 3 with Caleb Wilson potentially against AJ Dybantsa, if they even both play in the game, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun matchup to see. You could see those guys probably going up against each other, guarding each other 1-for-1 a lot in regards to that one. And so we'll see. I think Bulls fans would naturally get excited about that, but there's still that overarching if he's going to play, which will finish on the season, is should Caleb Wilson play. But, at the end of the day, like in that game, tack closeouts if you do play, make the simple pass, right? Make the heads-up play. We don't have a point guard on these actual roster, so keep producing at the rim. I want to see a little bit more of that from Caleb Wilson as well. And just have an efficient night. Like through all of it, like I want to see efficient shooting from Caleb. More less than the volume is the efficiency, because he's not going to take 18 shots per game probably at his rookie year in the NBA. And so because of that, like just be efficient. Use the times that you have there and make that work for you. The bigger issue now, should the Bulls keep playing Caleb Wilson, right? That is the big question here. Wilson has said that he wants to play. That's what he wants to do. There are going to be a lot of Bulls fans that look at that and say, well, do what the kid is telling you he wants to do. He's telling you that he's ready. Let him play. And I hear that, right? Like when he was asked about if he wants to play tonight, he says, hell yeah, I want to play tomorrow. But at the same time, the question that I want to throw to you guys in regards to this one is, have we already seen enough from Caleb Wilson to where we don't need to play? Like, again, I think I get that the fan brain of it all is good. We're going to want to see our guys play. We're going to want to see a guy that we just drafted 4th overall play, and we're going to look at it and say, hey, but this is good for his development, when in reality, I don't really know if it is. Like to be honest with you, Caleb Wilson is probably head and shoulders above this level of competition. Now, if AJ Dybantsa does play and the Wizards announce that may change some things for me, but if Dybantsa's not playing, I don't really know if I need to see Caleb Wilson play. And I think at this point, I'd almost rather see more from Dailyn Swain and Noah Essengate and what they bring if Caleb's not on the court, because somebody has to step up scoring-wise. And I would like it to be one of those guys but we'll see. Like at the end of the day, it's up to the Chicago Bulls and what they're going to want to do in regards to that one. But I think Caleb Wilson has shown exactly the questions that we've had, those type of things. The production has been there for him, both offensively and defensively. And I just don't know if you want to risk it, right? Like, I just don't know if you want to risk it. But if the Bulls sit him, I understand. If the Bulls play him, I understand too, right? Like maybe the solution isn't not playing him. Maybe the solution is, all right, we're going to play him, but we're only going to play him this amount of minutes. And if that ends up being the case, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that's a happy medium between the two. So we'll see what they end up doing with Caleb Wilson. But I do want to point that out, that there is a very big chance. I don't know how big. Again, I'm not in those meetings. I'm not in those rooms. But there's a chance that Caleb Wilson's about to start getting wound down a little bit in regards to it. So, Brett Siegel has talked a little bit about it, in regards to Caleb sitting down. They talked about it on the commentary team yesterday, how like Darren, AJ, Cam kind of all played 2 games at the Vegas Summer League and then start getting shut down. So we'll see what happens with that. I think ultimately, if they do shut down Caleb Wilson, then cool. He showed just about everything that I could want to see from Caleb Wilson in the Summer League. And I while I love to see another 30-point explosion or 3-point shooting explosion or even a defensive lockdown game where he just shuts down the opposite opponent, I think at this point, like, there's no more evaluation that needs to be done. He played 2 Summer League games. He played that for your actual head coach in Tiago Splitter. Now it may be time to go ahead and move on and focus on some of the other guys, give them an opportunity to kind of be the focal point, and then let's see what we do. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. But Caleb Wilson, another solid game from him. He continues to stand out, and now it's just, do you keep playing him? Now, let's get into the Dailyn Swain part of it all, right? Swain finished game 2 with 4 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. He was 0 of 9 from the field. I don't know what to say anymore about Dailyn Swain. I really, when it comes to Swain, it's and I said this on last night's live stream, I'm not overly concerned about Swain, and we'll get into that in a second, because I see that Swain is playing a role that just doesn't fit him. The Swain at point guard experiment, it needs to end. And I don't know if it can end in Summer League with how the Summer League roster is built off of it. But at the end of the day, like, the rebounding was okay, cool, right? It's good to see him being able to get at the rebounds like that one. 8 rebounds from a wing shows the physicality that he can play with, those type of things. But the offensive impact for Dailyn Swain so far in Summer League has been next to none. It just hasn't been there, right? But I do think that, personally, I want to see Dailyn Swain next to an actual point guard before I have these overarching judgments, because I did not come into Summer League or come into after Dailyn Swain was drafted and think point guard when we looked at it, right? And so if Wilson does sit, later in Summer League, even in game 3 or further on, it may give Swain a little bit more opportunity to play his more natural game, right? So, game 3 expectations for Dailyn Swain is I just want to see him play better. Like, I want to see him go out there, maybe hopefully get 9 to 13 points, 5 to 7 rebounds, 2 to 4 assists, 1 to 2 steals. Like, I want to see him impact the game the same way he did in Texas, where he impacted a little bit of everything between rebounding, scoring, everything, right? I'm not panicking. Like, the panic meter on Dailyn Swain right now, if we're talking about it, it's still low for me because it's Summer League. And that's just again, don't get too far high up, don't get too low based on what you see in Summer League. That's just the reality of it. But I do want to see him stop disappearing offensively. That's what I really like to see from Dailyn Swain. Stop disappearing. I get it. You're playing in the position. It's clearly he's uncomfortable. His confidence isn't there as much, playing the point guard. He's in his head a little bit about it more. I think the question now becomes about, if he's going to play more, how should you use him? I think the place that you want to use Dailyn Swain is get him grab-and-go transition opportunities, especially with his rebounding. Get him out in transition. This guy's a transition and isolation monster. Get him out there. Get him on those wing ball screens. Have him set a screen as a wing, and then use that to get downhill a little bit more. Backdoor cuts, but it's hard to do that when you're operating as the point guard in the half court. But this is why I want to see him be off ball a little bit more. His passing out the short roll, we haven't even ran very much short roll. Like, that's one of the strengths for him as well. And I still think the swing skill for him is still his jumper. How solid is that jumper going to be? But again, I'm not judging him a lot based off this one. He has to take the open looks a little bit more consistently as well. His hesitation on the tougher drive stands out as well, especially for somebody who needs to play that physical basketball. But I'll say this so far, like, one of the best signs that you could possibly get from Dailyn Swain in the next game is if he has around 11 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists with some really strong defense. I think that's the Dailyn Swain that we were advertised. That's the Dailyn Swain that you can get on. But, overall concern, another low usage game where he rebounds, but he didn't do anything to shape the offense. He didn't do anything to really impact the offense to Dailyn Swain. And so it's just like, I said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's real. It's Summer League. And so, just because he has a rough Summer League does not necessarily mean he's going to, and somebody in the live stream yesterday was like, well, I have a concern. If they don't do it in Summer League, how are they supposed to do it in the NBA? And it's like, if you watch Summer League consistently, especially year in and year out, this isn't a surprise. Like, some players struggle in Summer League and they turn it around in the regular season. Summer League is not meant to be some deep conversation on what a player is going to do once they get a chance in the regular season. That's just not what it is, especially when you experiment a little bit more in Summer League. But, all that to be said with this is that Swain got to show a little bit more, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. I need to see Swain be a little bit more aggressive, whatever that ends up looking like. And maybe in playing this point guard role, he's in his head a little bit about it. But listen, you got to get out of that, and you got to play a little bit more. You don't need to be the primary scorer to impact, but you can't disappear either. And last night, Dailyn Swain primarily disappeared on the offensive side of the ball. And just frankly, we need more than that from Dailyn Swain. It's just going to be that. Even if he's going to carve out a role on the bench for the Chicago Bulls, you need more than that because as it stands right now, Dailyn Swain may not even get those backup shooting guard minutes. Those may go to Isaac Okoro. That's how it's looking at right now, right? And with Isaac Okoro's offense not being great either, and him living off slashing and corner threes, those are all areas where we should want to see Dailyn Swain be able to impact early on and take that role. But if Dailyn Swain, comes into training camp timid as well, or if this has kind of messed up his confidence a little bit, do not be surprised if Dailyn Swain maybe not be in that rotation, but we're going to see. Like, again, I'm not going to take a lot or overly too much from it. We'll see what Dailyn Swain ends up doing. Next up, Noah Essengay. And I think last night just continued to solidify to me that Noah Essengay's path is defensive first. That's his path. If he wants to play NBA minutes next year, it's going to be defensive first. Noah's defensive activity does show how he can earn minutes. The 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, finishing with 4 stocks is really good. Those 4 stocks really tell the story of how he can impact the game. And I'm not expecting Noah Essinga to be some 18, 20-minute per game player next year. I want him to crack that rotation, show what he can do defensively a little bit more. Like, it's going to be very similar to early Io for Noah. Like, Io DeSumo was able to make an impact early in his career because of defense. And then he started getting trusted more to do more things offensively. That's what Noah needs to hang his hat on. It's being a versatile defender that can guard the 3 and the 4, right? That can do some switchable things, rebound the ball. And I do think that Noah Essinga as well has been somebody that's been impacted by the lack of an actual point guard. Those backdoor cuts and things that he does, when you have an actual point guard out there that can catch him on that may get him a little bit more active in regards to it. But be dependable defensively first. That's what I want to see from Noah Essinga. If there is a concern, though, with him, he did appear to injure himself in the third quarter of the game. He did not check back in after that third quarter of the game. So, I don't know what's going to happen. They could very well sit him. He checked out of the game at the 2 minute and 52 second mark of the third quarter, and he did not get back into that game after that point. So I think when you look at that, it may be time to shut down Noah Essinga, but other than that, some of the concerns for Noah, fouls, some of the missed rotations that he had on the defensive side of the ball. And I do think he rushed it on some drives as well, where he should have been a little bit more patient. But the strong rebounding, impactful defensive performance, again, for Noah Essinga, that's where you need to be. That's where you need to live, is how you impact the game defensively night in and night out. Make a name for yourself. Then we got point guards that are going to get you the ball if you're active on the side of that. So I think when you look at what I want to see from Noah Essinga, if he does play in game 3, is reduce the turnovers, right? You can tell that Utah's ball pressure disrupted Noah Essinga anytime he did touch the ball. I need to see Noah play with more urgency. Get back to how you played in your first summer league. I get it. You're returning from injury. There's a psychological part of all of that. I understand that. I'm not blind to that fact. But I do want to see you get a little bit more in there. Start with a little bit more urgency in regards to that one, and just make yourself presence felt on the court. Now, with him sitting out the rest of the third quarter, I would not be surprised at all if we don't see Noah. But if we do see Noah in game 3, run, right? Do that. Push the break. Finish harder around the basket. Those are things that you can do. Set as strong screens as you can. We know that you need to put on some weight, put your body in there, set a screen, then try to break away from that screen also. Like, these are things that Noah Essinga can do, and these are things that we've seen him do before. He just needs to get back in regards to that one. But I say this, what I want to see collectively from the Bulls in game 3, reduce turnovers, just play better offensively. Like have an actual offensive game plan as well. Create easier shots for all you guys as well. Stop relying on difficult individual basketball on possessions, which I think we do a lot too much. And also, if Caleb Wilson does play, don't wait till the fourth quarter to impose your will. Go out there. You are the star of this summer league team. Go out there and do it. And so I think if you see, another big game from Caleb Wilson, if he does play, that could very well be the last game that you see from Caleb Wilson in that. And so, overall, I'll say this. Thiago Splitter coaching the first 2 games. I've gotten some questions in regards to that, and how do I feel about Thiago Splitter's coaching? And I'll say this, much like I say with the players, same thing with the coaching. I don't think Thiago's out here running the most complex sets. I don't think Thiago's out here running, actions for Jalen Sellers. I don't think those type of things are happening in regards to this one. So I don't think that you can take this and be like, oh, well, this is how Thiago Splitter is going to coach. I think more so about Thiago was getting a feel for the rookies, kind of set the expectation and the discipline that he wants to see, the intensity that he wants to see from those young players. I think that's really what it was more about here in Summer League for Thiago Splitter coaching these first 2 games. Now it moves on. Right now, we're moving on. I think default is going to be the guy that's coaching, the rest of these games, and that's perfectly, well, at least tonight's game, and that's perfectly fine. Overall, again, I got more good than bad from Summer League, and namely being Caleb Wilson's shot looks legit, right? We got to see how that's going to cover over into the NBA game and that side of things, but it does look legit, and that's something big to take away from it. Noah Essinga and Dailyn Swain have been a mixed bag. Noah has been a little bit more passive than I think a lot of us would like to see from Noah Essinga, but at the same time, he's made an impact defensively every single night. Dailyn Swain is the one that is like, Dailyn we got to get Dailyn, to find a way to get him back to his game. I think that's just the reality. If we can get Dailyn Swain back to playing his game, because one thing in watching Dailyn Swain's tape at Texas, versus watching him in the Summer League game, he is not playing to his strengths. That's not me trying to make excuses for him. That's just how we're not using him to his strengths. And so I'm not going to, if we get into the regular season or even in preseason and Dailyn Swain is out there with Trey Jones and we see more of this version of Dailyn Swain than what we saw in Texas, that's when my concerns, that's when my concern lights are going to go off and I'm like, okay, Dailyn, now I'm a little bit more concerned about you. But as it stands right now, I'm not going to overly worry about it in Summer League because of the situation, how he's playing, where we're playing him at, all those type of things. But as we get closer and closer, and once we get into training camp and stuff like that, that's where my concern may turn into a little bit more of a thing. So we'll see how it goes for this team. But I wonder if Dailyn Swain's play, especially with the Bulls, we're kind of hoping that they were going to play him a lot early on. If this may put them in more of a pressure point to sign somebody to that last roster spot that can play like a Bruce Brown or something like that, to somebody who can actually play that depth position. And that if you see the Bulls do that, that could very well mean that Dailyn Swain's just not going to be getting a lot of minutes as a rookie. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. But let me know you guys' thoughts on Summer League, everything down below as well. Sound off in that comment section. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode or a live stream. You can follow us at Bull Central Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation